There, we got it on the go here. Sorry about that. You know what? I'm doing another video. I just stopped at my son's place to drop off his medication that he left at our house. So I dropped off that, and now I am getting back on the Anthony Henday. I'm heading south, and next stop is Calgary. I'm stopping in at Ma's and Pa's, and I'm going to go drop off their Christmas presents. You know what? Rhonda's parents are wonderful people. They really are. I mean, all of us have our vices, you want to call them. Their vices or crosses to bear. And you know what? We all, they're kind-hearted. They really are. You know, sometimes we all get tied up in messes that really just need a sprinkle of love put into them, you know? Learning how to talk to each other and not scream and yell at each other. That hurts my heart. It hurts my heart, and it reminds me of a day that I don't want to remember. But I always remember because I never forget where I came from. You know? Here I was, a little child in England. You know, I'm now, for some of you, you don't know that, I'm going to turn this fan off my face because it's blowing in my eyes. Put it down on my feet. You know, I came from England in 1972. I was a 7-year-old child, and I came from a small little town called Bude in England. And it was just a little tiny town of about 1,200 people. It was a wonderful little town. It was picturesque. It was gorgeous. And I mean, here I am. I wore a uniform to school, you know, and I come from a background, you know, my grandfather was a sergeant major instructor gunner. He taught the men how to shoot a MK6 howitzer. For the guys who served and the vets know what that is. That's when we talk. They call them SMIG, sergeant major instructor gunner, and his name was James Henry Noel Smith. What a last name, Smith, eh? And it's funny how I don't have the same last name. It's because the only grandfather I know was my dad's stepdad. His last name was Smith, and my father's father was a sergeant in the military police. And at some point, he committed suicide. It was hard. It was hard on my father. My father was 18 years old. And my dad told me this story a number of times. And what he told me is his dad was coming back from the war. He was a military police officer. He was a sergeant. And he was coming back, and when he was coming back from Germany, he phoned my dad, and he told my dad that he got him a German handgun. He got him a Ruger, I think it was, and the guys were allowed. I mean, he purchased it while he was in Germany, and he bought this gun, and he was bringing it back for my dad. You know, and I guess. How do I say it without being and putting shame on it? But my grandmother left my grandfather, and subsequently, I mean, I broke up with my wife and my first wife, and you know what? It does. It leads you to a place where you feel like you just want to die. You know, and I understand that. And we all have our social dilemmas. I know that. You know, and it just takes you to a place where you want to die. And some of us, you know what? Because I suffer dilemmas all the time, and I suffer from depression just like you do. But you know what? I don't take any antidepressants. I deal with it as it comes, and I have faith that God will take me through it, you know? My dad's father shot himself in the head with my dad's gun. And my dad lived with that his whole life, knowing that the gun that his father killed himself with was coming back to be his. My dad was a good guy. My dad was such a good guy, man. Imagine carrying that your whole life. And my dad preached peace. More than I teach peace and love and caring for each other. My dad was far. He taught me how to love people and how to do what I do. And what we do is love on people. And mostly to the people that, you know, in the old days there was brotherhood and love amongst them, but to go outside of that is another thing, you know. And I see a community of bikers in that are hard, and I see their hearts. I you know, that you get through that hard shell of hurt and damage, and stereotyping and profiling that happens. I mean, that's hard on a person. You know? Like I told Rhonda, the reality is, even though I'm a good guy, I hang out with the bad guys, I probably got phone taps on my phone, I probably got all that bullshit. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about that thing. You know what I care about? I care about kids and humans. Kids. Jesus loved children. He loved children. That's what he did. You know what? You want to change the future? Who do you teach properly? The children. You want to change the world? Teach the children, not the old dogs. Like I spend more time in children. Why do I work with children? Because those are the ones that are going to affect the future. Because change doesn't happen overnight. Change happens over time. You know? Jesus led people around. He taught them about loving each other. You know? Jesus preached true peace. He was the Prince of Peace. Think about it. You're made in His image. He called to be make fishermen of men. All I can say is get off the fence. You don't have to jump up and down and dance and pretend there's gold dust falling on you. You'll know. You will absolutely know. There never will be a time, even in the most grave situations. I'm going to get this speedo up to speed. Even in grave situations where you don't talk to God first instead of talking to everybody around you. God will tell you, sometimes you just got to make peace happen. You know, I was telling Rhonda, I don't say this to many people. You know, I know many psychologists. You know, I don't see very many of them on here talking about this, and I don't claim to be a psychologist, but I've done human behavioral studies through learning God's Word and learning about people and truly helping people from your heart with nothing in return. Nothing, no expectations. And you put that out there. And then you see the people like Amanda Rose, Mom, one of my kids, turned out to be a good person. Despite being on the street and having all them hardships. And Noelle, she's come a long way. Still got a long way to go. I love you, honey. Like a daughter, you know. Keep walking straight. Keep looking up, you know. People like Trent Burke. Now doing good things. Always doing good things. When you do good things happen. Call it karma. Call it reap what you sow. Whatever you say in your culture, it don't matter. Same thing. Get what you give. You know? There's lots of them. Brad Tribble. Brad. Scooter. Oh, man. I love you, brother. I love you. Freaks me out, though. You know, many years later, you know, you look back and you think maybe you made a difference in people's lives, and then they come forward and you meet them as adults. You know? Some of them changed, some of them stayed the same. you got to keep your guard up. I let my guard down with a couple of the ones, and you know what? They kept up their act for many years, and I thought they were doing okay. And then when you let them back into your life, they leave with a storm of chaos and trouble and cause all kinds of problems, you know. It is what it is, you know. I love him just the same, and I pray for healing over him. He thinks I'm going to send some 1%ers after him. I'm not. I'm not interested in doing that. I pray healing over him. I hope he gets it straight. Hope he gets his head on straight. You know? Forgiveness is a freedom for me. You know? Despite, you know, how I felt and whether I came out scathed or unscathed, you know, it really doesn't matter. Forgiveness is a freedom for me, that I forgive him, and you know what, I move on, and I dust my feet off. That's what Jesus calls us to do, to dust our feet off of people that hurt us like that. You know what? Forgive them, though. Let them go. You know what? Revenge is a deed of the devil. Depends on which wolf you feed, I guess. The white or the black wolf, you know. Oh, look, there's a sign right ahead of me that says South to Calgary. So, here we go. I'm having a good time, you know. I wanted to spend some time talking to you guys, and I'll put some Christian music on in the background. So let's cheer things up a little bit. So, you know, I think it's all in your attitude. It's all in your connection. It's all in your faith and belief. You turn your troubles over to him. Lay them at the foot of Jesus, man. It's so freeing. Focus on the positive. Always do good. You know, everybody thought that it had to be military men to be men of honor. It doesn't have to be. In the olden days, it was the way of the night. You know. You know, we opened up the doors to the apostolic order. You know, and we came out kind of like the Knights Templar, and you know, I'm the Grand Marshal with the Knights Order, and we're a full armor of God gospel ministry. Angelo's gone now. Now it's me and Jimmy Hill. I always send a shout out to Jimmy. You know, we lost Riley. He's a man that should never be forgotten. He was a good, strong man of God, and his wife is, wow. I love him dearly. And Angelo, Betty, Queen Bee. You know, it's I'm gonna put Cruise on. Yeah, there we go. I can put Cruise on and I can relax. I just gotta always keep my eyes on the road. So I glance at you, and sometimes I look at you and I look at them. I got two eyes going different directions, I guess. I guess it's a gift. Years and years of driving truck, millions of miles. You know, everything. Oh, you know, I'm worried about the drive of this drive. It's like 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever, you know. It wasn't long ago I drove 6,000 kilometers, you know. From east to west. I still have a trip to do over to BC. I want to go kiss my daughter on the forehead. Tell her how proud I am of her. Up Girl's come a long way. She's got a strong faith, though. Makes me smile and makes me so proud. You know, when you're ordained of God, no matter what you do, when you fight it and go the opposite direction, you never find peace.
Man, I kind of forgot about that song over the last month or so of Christmas music. Big Daddy Weave,
when you
My
stop,
Story on Shine FM. I'm David James with New World Sun.
Look back.
You say love is just
and think all the things you did.
Just a thing that people say.
My daughter went to Sunday school for years.
Tell you so. And you use
and she's just like me.
To let nobody in.
At 18, I walked away from the Lord.
Has become your only friend.
I got involved with some stuff that I shouldn't have got involved with. If you ever want to know, I'll tell you openly. I don't want to waste it on video. Inbox me if you want to know and you want to talk. My life is an open book. I'm never going to have anybody use it against me. I can't. When you spend your life going out to show people love and care, in order for them to be able to respect you and let them speak into your life, you got to let them know the truth. You got to let them know that they're never alone, that I suffer all the social dilemmas that they do. You know? You know? I shed tears for all the people I love. Because some of the people I love aren't walking in righteousness. And it really hurts. It hurts for me to watch them. And they suffer in worldly pain. They suffer in worldly pain. Because in this messed up world, generally, that's what they got for you to soak up. You know? You know, look, club soda. It's I call it my watery pop. Everybody laughs at me. You know, humor sometimes lets your guard down and lets you show that little bit of that big flash underneath your calloused heart. Because the calloused heart comes from the abuse and neglect and just discare and disrespect of people out there. Give respect, get respect. It's real simple. You know, my father, I'm going to try and turn this so I can falling out of there. And, you know, my father, you know what, I'm going to do another video right after this. You're going to have to go to this because I'm running out of time here. All right? Much love. I'll do one right after this. Just remember my father.